Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft discussion on this glorious November day. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm just super pumped to walk around my living room and maybe possibly kitchen with you because as much as I love being in the woods, and I think most of you know how much I love walking around the woods, it's hunting season. It just started today. So it's super duper, times a million, dangerous to be out in the woods. Although little Giovanni and I did manage to, I think better when I walk. I could just flow. All right, so we went up to Jay Peak actually this morning because, and I'm just grateful for it, even though it's a little bit of fine. It's by the condos because there's a shooting rule obviously near people, the condos. So we went up there and did a quick little jaunt up one of the beginner trails, and they're blowing snow, so I'm super excited. All right, so anyway, today what I want to talk about, and it might be a November thing because, I'm feeling the inspiration about meaning and purpose daily, which is what I want to talk about today. And that said, though, there's something about November that, I love George Winston. I don't know if you've listened to him or not, but he's just this incredible pianist, and he's just his music sounds like fall and winter, and so I get super inspired and just I think November is like super contemplative or something, even more than usual. I feel such a depth in November into December. So anyway, that got me to thinking about meaning and purpose, because here's the thing: you've got to know your why. Super Simon Sinek, he talks about it a lot. And for young adults listening, he's like, if you don't listen to him, you should. You want to. So that's not really in my vocabulary that much. You want to. You want to be excited to, because Simon Sinek does so much with young adults and the whole meaning, purpose thing, and he does a lot with it. So anyway, and with leadership and how to he's just a really good person to listen to for young adults. Anyway, so the meaning purpose thing, where I wanted to go with this was not having a sense of meaning and purpose is a straight road to depression, or at least a straight road to sad, and then it can get worse, right? So let's say a straight road to sad, because we all need to know our why, which is what Simon Sinek talks about. Viktor Frankl, definitely my favorite. Let's see how clean it is in here. It definitely my favorite psychologist, hands down. My close second would probably be Abraham Maslow, but definitely Viktor Frankl, who you may know is the author of Man's Search for Meaning, and he is, well, no longer with us, but he was a Holocaust survivor, and he managed to maintain the most positive mindset anybody could possibly imagine, through the horrible, heinous atrocities. You can't even put words to that stuff, right? We cannot even attach language to the horrible things that happened to people in the Holocaust. And he survived all that and kept an incredibly positive mindset. So Man's Search for Meaning, he's the author of that book. And it was, when I read that way back in the day, when I was an undergrad at my beloved St. Mike's, which I said this to my Minecraft students this week, actually, because their paper on Man's Search for Meaning is due Monday, which is also maybe feeding into my inspiration here. But I said, when I read that, I was roughly their age, because I'm mostly first years, and I can't picture that. I'm like, back when the dinosaurs roamed and ferns covered the earth. Is that what you mean? Yeah, right. So anyway, it was just, it's a page burner. It's just so incredible, because how he managed to just go through what he went through and not only survive it, but manage to find meaning and purpose in it. So anyway, this is what I'm inspired to think about and talk about today, is how important it is to find the meaning in whatever it is that we're going through, good and not so good, right? Because what Viktor Frankl said when he came up with the idea, and actually the sort of a therapeutic treatment called logotherapy. And if you've read the book, you obviously know, but if not, I'll explain it to you. And it's just amazing, because he said the same thing, that without a sense of meaning and purpose, that was way back in the, he was at least talking about it like in the 50s and 60s. So we say man, right? So man is destined to sadness, people destined to sadness, without the sense of meaning and purpose. I don't know if anything was ever truer. anything was ever truer. And I definitely see this crisis with the young adults, with the young adult generation. I'm out there teaching and absolutely love them. They're just the sweetest young adults. They really are. And I definitely see that with them. And I'm not talking about knowing what you want to do for the rest of your life. I'm not talking about that. Just having this sense of a meaning and a higher purpose, which of course means that you've got to have some kind of awareness of the divine connection running through us, regardless of what you call it. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it higher power, like they do in the 12-step programs, because without that awareness of that divine connection, prob's not going to find your meaning and purpose, because it's that authentic divine connection within us all that's kind of how we find our meaning and purpose, which is also a crisis, not just in my opinion, but in lots of people's opinions with the young adults today. In fact, this just came to my head because I did not plan it. I have her book, though. It's not on my little table right there. It must be downstairs. Lisa Miller's work on the awakened brain and spirituality is absolutely amazing, because she talks about how spirituality and depression are two sides of the same coin. You flip it over. So there's this gaping hole of spiritual, I would say the word bankruptcy is coming to mind. When we're not in connection to that higher power, there's like an emptiness. And the other thing about it, again, call it what you want to, but it's no big surprise. This generation of young adults is the most anxious and depressed generation the United States has ever seen. And the thing is, largely also due to social media, but that all ties in. It all ties in because they're all wrapped up in the social comparison, with all this, she's got that, he's got that, they have that, they're on vacation, they're in a relationship, they're invited to the party. It all feeds in because that's all, they're applying meaning, just like we're talking about. That can be positive or negative. They're applying to meaning to all this shallow stuff that's then, feeding to their comparison, and those thoughts of inadequacy then lead to feelings of inadequacy, and so the cycle rolls, right? The thoughts, because remember that thoughts come first, feelings second, actions and behavior third. So you cannot feel insecure unless you're thinking insecure thoughts. You cannot feel sad unless you're thinking sad thoughts. You can't feel happy unless you're thinking happy thoughts. And you can't feel, that whatever you're going through is meaningful unless you're thinking meaningful thoughts. So back to Viktor Frankl, who I love and adore very much, just such an amazing human being, such an incredible human being. He talked about, where was I going with that? Meaning, purpose, about how you have to, in order to feel fulfilled, because happiness and fulfillment are not the same thing either, right? Fulfillment is miles above happy. Happy is great, but it's still a fleeting emotion. We definitely, many of us are, constantly working at feeling happier, and that's awesome. Keep it up. Fulfillment, though, is just a whole nother level. And so that leads to what our calling is, which is the ultimate purpose, right? And, and like Oprah talks about that, job, career, calling, just like basic, following your career path. And then calling is that authentic, I was put on this earth to do this. I was put on this earth to do this. And so that's just another level. But in general, can be whatever it is we're going through, because Viktor Frankl's whole thing was that if you're going to go through it, if you're going to go through whatever said thing, whether it's wonderful and amazing, you're in the Peace Corps and you just having the best time, or you're going through something really, really hard, one of life's curveballs, if you're going to go through it, you may as well come out on top as far as growth-wise. So I'm going to throw a lot of people at you, because these are all the people I think about a lot. Marty Seligman with post-traumatic growth, right? He's one who flipped the script on that, because way back in the day with therapy, it used to be like a search and destroy mission back in the 70s, and you walked in, they like, what's wrong with you? How are you defective? Slap some medication, sent you out the door. And I'm not saying that medication's bad. I'm a big fan of it, when it's needed. Absolutely, 100%. That wasn't the point. The point was that it was very, I think, kind of more shame-based. Whereas now, thanks to Marty and others, but Marty definitely had a big hand in it, the post-traumatic growth thing is now we look at clients with their strengths, their signature strengths, and strengths that, wow, even it might be, the bar might be as low as you were able to get here today. Good for you, because we all know there's certain times when it takes everything we have in us just to get dressed and put our shoes on and get out the door, right? So very strength based. Then we work into the meaning, because Viktor Frankl's whole thing was, you could take anybody who doesn't have meaning and help them learn to apply meaning to their lives, and they're going to come out on top. He said even the most down and out people maybe committed crimes, wrapped up in addiction, severely going down the depression dark hole spiral, and help them to see meaning and purpose for their suffering, and they are going to be like a brand new penny. Gradually, brand new penny, because without a sense of meaning and purpose is a straight road to sad and even depression. So it's very, very important to know your why. And here, as we pick up, bring it to the positive, we're talking about the job, career, calling. Now, I mean, the meaning and purpose can be in any avenue, with a relationship, with your travel, whatever. As long as you got a meaning and a purpose and a sense of sort of a higher purpose, something bigger than yourself. That's what we're talking about. It can be in whatever context. And specifically in the context of job, career, calling, right? Job is basically externally motivated, and not in any way, saying anything that's not good about that. That's fantastic, because we all need to make, well, not we don't all need to make money. Many of us need to make money, but the point is that it's the motivation is extrinsic. It's pretty much paycheck, show up, It's like this tier right here, and jobs are super important. Then the next level, because it does involve more. Training, whether it looks like education, whether that's training to be a plumber, whether that's training and education in the military or whatever. And there can be overlap here, because certainly I know folks close to us who see the military as their calling, and that's their authentic purpose on this earth. So there can definitely be overlap. And then the top tier is your calling, and that again is your authentic purpose, and it's intrinsically motivated because it's chock full of meaning, loaded with, this is what I was put on this earth to do. Again, whether it's having the plumbing business, whether it's being in the military, whether it's being a religious leader, whether it's being a yoga teacher, doesn't matter what it is. If you know that that's your authentic purpose. For me, it's definitely as an educator of positivity, both in the classroom and also I go and speak around, and it's all really the same thing, just different contexts. And I definitely love educating young adults. It's just so much fun. I could explode thinking about it, maybe implode thinking about it. And I just love to get out there and spread the positivity. I know for a fact, in addition to being the best mom I could be, I know for a fact, I was put on this earth to teach, no matter how that looks like. And with positivity, meaning, purposeful base, helping people to see their value, it all rolls into that higher purpose. And I'm so grateful, very, very grateful to have this be my purpose, actually. So the whole point of the discussion is to know your why, no matter what it is you're doing in life. It doesn't have to be a paid thing. It can be a volunteer thing. It can be whatever role in people's lives. It can be whatever, as long as you really are feeling a sense of meaning and purpose that are sort of bigger than yourself. That is what we're talking about. And knowing your why, having that sense of meaning and purpose, really steers us away from the doldrums. That is the important thing, because without that, it's a straight road to sad. So hopefully you got something good out of this today, because I love talking about meaning, spirituality, and purpose. And some of those resources I mentioned through people, because I didn't really plan that. I just kind of decided to walk around my living room so I didn't get shot out in the woods. Sort of a good choice. But Man's Search of Meaning, Viktor Frankl, who else do we talk about? Lisa Miller, The Awakened Brain, very recent. Her research is really good, and her book is very, very readable. She's into neuroscience, and it's very, very digestible, I guess. I brought up Marty Seligman, and I think I brought up Tony Robbins, who also said, I forget if I mentioned this in here, that was the real, but I'll say it quickly. Tony Robbins, I'm a big fan. If you want to listen to him, he's just so uplifting. He talked about, if you're unhappy, consider the fact that maybe you're not growing. You're not growing, moving forward, because because when we stop growing, we also cease to be happy. So that rolls right in too. All right, so awesome. Thank you for kind of staying with me here while I'm walking around my kitchen and living room, because I do much better. Maybe it's the fast mind wiring that I have, but I definitely think better in motion. And when I go speak at various colleges and universities and agencies or whatever, really my only request is that I'm not chained by the ankle to a podium. That's like a nightmare, because when I walk, I just feel in the groove. I feel like I'm with the people. I feel like you're in my living room with me. And so, yeah, thank you for watching and listening, and have a mindful day.